So I meet this guy on Tinder and we're talking and he literally, like, all of his pictures look like Conor McGregor. I was like, get in my belly. And listen up. Before any of you bottom feeders who are all triggered over this story, I am allowed to be as judgy or as shallow as I want to. It's my pussy, I do what I want. We're texting for like weeks and I am like in love. In love. I'm like telling the doctors that I work with, I was like, we finish each other's sentences. I'm big on masculinity. I love my man to be very manly and masculine, and nothing's hotter than like a super deep voice and calloused hands, because I have really rough fucking reptile hands because I work in the medical field, so my hands are in sanitizer all day long, and I'm just, you know, I'm like a sharp prune. First date happens, right? So he picks me up. He rolls up in this BMW X3. He gets out of the car. Okay, so let's relax. It's my story. He's a lot shorter than I thought, and I'm tiny. I'm 4'10", and so the thing is like a lot of the short kings in the world, they think they're like, the Lord put us here on earth to be together for, like, not today, Lord Farquaad. Then he speaks, and I'm not even fucking kidding. He was like, Casey Costa, and I was like, are you sure? I felt so manly in that moment. I felt bigger than him. I felt like more masculine. I was like, oh, fuck me. Get in his car and it's like spotless, which I love. I'm a neat freak, but it's like cleaner than mine, which is like takes a lot to be there. And then he holds my hand. He had the softest, baby soft hands ever. I was like, oh, Lord. Who's gonna open the fucking jar of pickles in this relationship? It's gonna be me. To this like cute loft where we're going to have drinks. Mind you, I was so nervous all day. I didn't eat anything that day. Instantly, I'm fucking over this date, and I was like, I'll have a dirty martini. He orders an apple teeny. He goes, yeah, I actually have a gay best friend. And I was like, okay, like, to me, I feel like it's really attractive if you're with a man who is so secure, they're not fucking judgmental about other people's sexual preference. Like, I think that's super attractive. So to me, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I really did like that. Like, that's great. And he just kept talking about it. And he kept saying things, and he was like, yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people feel like, you know, that he, like, really likes me, or they think that, like, we have something. And I'm starting to realize, like, okay, he's like really trying to preface this a little too much for me. So at first it wasn't an issue. Now I'm realizing might be an issue. Casey by now is on her like third dirty martini on an empty stomach. And I just, you know, what does Casey do? She opens her fucking mouth. Just like painting this story of like his friendship with this gay man. And I took one fucking big sip of that martini, and I was like, did you fuck him? Instantly offended. And he was like, what? Oh my God, do you really think that? Like, are you serious? Do you think? And he's like kind of like gaslighting me, right? Like, so, and I'm pretty fucking tanked. And I'm like looking at the bartender, I'm like, you want to fuck? And I'm like looking at him, and I was like, it was just a question. The date was just toast, as was I. But he really wanted it. Like, he was really butthurt that I really disappeared on him, you know. And in a way, I was like, you know, like, really, if we were to like pursue this, like, I'm sure he'd like to go for the back door, if you know what I mean. I ghost him, right? Sometimes you just fucking have to, okay? Relax. So then he shows up to my work, because he was like, I have a Christmas present for you. And I was like, I don't want a present. Like, he was rich, too. I was like, I want nothing to do with you. And I'm poor. I want nothing to do with you. He tells me, he was like, well, I can't really return this gift. It's actually custom made. And I was like, okay, fine. So I'm making every doctor and every medic, like, look out the window in case I get murdered. And so I go out to the parking lot to meet him there. He was like, what are you doing for New Year's? And I was like, probably just hanging out with my son. And I was like, what about you? And he was like, probably gonna watch Grey's Anatomy and have a bottle of wine. And he knows that wine is my weakness. And I was like, nice. I go inside to open the gift, and I thank him because it was like super sweet of him to do that. And I opened the gift, and it is to date the best gift I've ever fucking received. And it is a custom-made 49ers wine glass with my name engraved in it. And I'm not drinking out of it because I'm bitter from yesterday's game, but it is the best gift, and like, oh, we could have been best friends.